Welcome back to the No Excuse Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Jay, and today I'm here with
Kai Mosen.
So we're giving Kai a chance to interview us today. So I'm gonna let him take over. He's gonna kind of be I'm the host, but he's gonna kind of host today a little bit. How's it going, my man?
Everything's going good, man. Very happy to be here. It's my first time on a podcast, and I'm very excited to be interviewing someone that I really look up to. So.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You don't have to say that type of stuff, but it is my podcast, so it's good that you say things like this. How you enjoyed the internship so far, and what are the things that you're looking most forward to?
Really, I enjoy the environment quite a bit. I enjoy the people that I've met through the internship so far. I enjoy you as a boss. I mean, you're not just pushing me to do certain things. You are helping me through these things and giving me the experiences I'm going to need to be a personal trainer in the future. I'm very excited for really everything to come because this is just the beginning, and I'm already really enjoying it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just the beginning. And, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to come and do the podcast, because social media is such a big part of the world we live in, and being able to create content and having content to push out. So this is something for you that you could even kind of chop into reels and just put it out on your own. Say, I did that and built that portfolio. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So my first question for you is, what is the first thing that got you interested in personal training? What was the first thing that, the first stepping stone that really got you to wanting to be in this sort of field?
I feel like injury. I sustained a pretty serious back injury when I was about 15, 16. And so, I went to that kind of rehabilitation side, trying to build some lean muscle up. So from there, and then just falling in love with lifting weights and seeing what it did for my body, the changes that I made, and really enjoy that. Also, what it did for my mindset. So that's the initial foundation of it. And then once I get off into personal training, I'm seeing how much is needed, right? I'm seeing how, we have one of the heaviest states with obesity and overweight. So I see how much is needed and how much many people didn't really know about their health and wellness. So yeah, that's kind of what got me going.
And I kind of relate to that a little bit because I'm injured right now. And we were just talking earlier about how an injury can really set that tone for, if you can't do it yourself, you might as well show other people what they can do.
Yeah. It really puts you in a place of leadership, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you're on a team, because now, hey, I can't just focus on myself. Now I'm sitting at practice and hey, here's a pointer. So sometimes injury is the best thing that ever happened to you. I rolled my ankle sometimes, and then I just went harder on the bench press, So, and then we seen gains there. So yeah, sometimes it's a very good thing. So hopefully, I think it's going to be a good thing for you too. Yeah, because it's giving you the opportunity to train. It sounds like too as well. So you can implement some of the stuff we're applying right away, which is really how you take hold of that information applied. Knowledge is good, but too much knowledge without action, it doesn't mean anything. People just, I know so much, but you haven't put any action to it. So once you know, and then put action to it. But yeah.
The next question is, what was the moment you knew this would be your real career? More than just a hobby, more than just something you enjoy doing, where you knew it would be something that's going to take you everywhere in life?
So I studied leadership at the University of Iowa, and one of the types of leadership is like servant leadership. And so just serving people is kind of what I'm passionate about doing. But once I began to train people initially, I started seeing like extreme weight loss. I started seeing people get engaged. I started seeing people get promotions on their jobs. I started seeing the ripple effect it had on their kids and their loved ones too as well. So, that's what really made me fall in love with it, because I'm like, oh, wow. I talked about it before, but, one of my clients was like, hey, you got to find your formula, because you got a formula, right? Because everybody can learn the science of it, right? But then you got to still figure out your formula and your sauce and what works for you too as well. So I had to find that, but just seeing that just really sparked something in me, like, oh, I want more of that. I want more transformations. I want people to live their life to the fullest, and not let anything physically, mentally, or whatever hold them back.
Then the next question is, how has the fitness industry as a whole changed since you started? What has changed from the beginning when you first started lifting or moving weight yourself, and how is it different now for people mentally, physically?
So one thing that I've seen with the fitness industry, like I come from like the sweatpants hoodie era, right? So we sweatpants, boom, working out, you're either working out or getting ready to work out, So, and then it became like a fashion show. So you see a lot of the fashion, which is great, a lot of really cool fitness gear and stuff out there. But we seen that. But I do see it evolving into a more of a holistic perspective in the wellness industry, because you look at the gym and it's just physical, but there's just so much really to be addressed that encompasses health and wellness more than just lifting weights and stuff like that. So that's why I hope it goes. I mean, it seems like it's evolving in that field, and people are being more conscious about mental health and other things too as well. So I really want to see it focus on that, because I mean, you can have a strong body, but if the mind is weak, the body won't stay strong long.
True.
Right. So
you need a lot of dedication.
Yeah. Dedication, determination. And one thing about discipline, like discipline shows up in all aspects of your life. Right. So, a lot of times, I had one guy, he was telling me, he said, well, when I start working out, I just immediately start eating better. Right. Because you're practicing one discipline. So now that becomes who you are. Your habits become who you are. Right. So.
And then with that what was the biggest challenge when you first started out? Like, what was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome to get where you are now?
I think the biggest challenge with the fitness business and just business in general is that so when you first talking about an idea, you might have a lot of people there cheering you on, like, oh yeah, we could do this. But when it comes to really trying to see, hey, can I get this thing to work? A lot of times you're going to be by yourself initially, right? There's going to be some sleepless nights. There's going to be a lot of lonely times when you're trying to do things. So I feel like one of the more challenging things could be said is just continue to work on your mindset, right? Continue to sow good things in your mind, whether it's reading, whether it's personal development, mentorship. Mentorship comes in a lot of ways. It comes like this. It comes like, hey, I know somebody on YouTube that I really like that's dead and gone now, but I can get some mentorship for that. So just really sowing that seed in your mind could really help you get through those challenging times, because you're going to have them through other points in the business, but especially when you initially start, because like, are these people going to show up? And then they don't show up, and they don't show up in the way you want to, but nobody's going to be as passionate as you about your vision. Yeah. Right? Because you can only see it. That's why it's your vision. Like, it's in your mind. And then you're like, hey, don't you see it? They're like, no, I don't see nothing. I see it. No. So, yeah. I think that's the toughest. I think that's definitely a challenging part. I think and I think that's even why I focus on the no excuse mindset, because that is the most challenging part. And then we deal with a lot of people that are business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders in the community. So they're dealing with the same thing as far as mindset, like, because a lot of times leaders are on an island. So
one thing you mentioned earlier, which was mentors and everything like that, that leads perfectly to the next question, which is, who inspired you the most when you started? Like, who was somebody, excuse me, that you looked up to that really pushed you in your career? Somebody famous, somebody you knew, anything like that?
Honestly, what inspired me, I get inspired by everybody. Honestly, like, there's certain things that I see with people. Like, one time I was at a gym, and there was a guy, he was in a wheelchair, but then when he was in that swimming pool, he was just flying. I'm like, man, that's, he's not letting anything hold him back. And then, as you know, I had a brother that when he was 4, he had a brain tumor. And it's one of the most deadly cancer, because the body's growing and so is the tumor, so it's hard to get out. So they went in and tried to get it out, and the surgery was botched, so it left him fully handicapped. Blind, deaf, couldn't walk, talk, hear. I guess that's the same thing as deaf. But over time, one time I was at my mother's house, and he was sitting in the living room. He was in his wheelchair, and remember, he can't see, and he just starts with the biggest grin. So I always call that my monk in the Ferrari moment, to just say, hey, if this guy can be joyful with the condition that he's in, then I have really no excuse to live my life to the fullest. So I would say he is my inspiration. So
I love that.
Yeah, that's a short answer.
Switching to more of your training philosophy and just your style with training, how is your style with training different from other people's? Like, how would you describe your training style?
I would say my training style is intentional, science-based, results-driven. And I don't just train the body, we really focus on training the mindset of the individual. I was talking, who was I talking with? I don't even know. But I was having a conversation with a potential customer, and they messaged me and they said something. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to share what they said, but I'm like, oh, I see what your problem is, right? Like, I see what the excuse is, what's been holding you back. Like, because a lot of times people are going to tell you, and you'll figure this out in your training career. A lot of people times say, hey, man, I want to lose weight. Hey, man, I want to build muscle. And then you're like, 6 months pass by and like, man, you ain't done nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, so your job as a coach is to really figure out what is that roadblock from them getting in there, right? Yeah. I had one girl, and I told the story before, I had one girl, she came to the door and then turned around, oh, I couldn't find the door. I'm like, well, I know your problem. You look for any obstacle and you can use that as an excuse, right? Mm-hmm. Like, most excuses are not real. Mm-hmm. I don't have enough time. Oh, you couldn't wake up an hour earlier, 30 minutes earlier to get 20-minute workout? I still don't have enough time. I already wake up early enough. Oh, but you just spent 4 hours on Netflix, right? 3 hours on social media, 2 hours on the phone. Right? What happened to that time? That's time that you could be investing in yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's my training philosophy, is just kind of try to really get to the root of the problem more than anything. So we know, like, as I say, science-based is science-based. So if you know it, you know it. But what can I create that's going to leave a person better off than they came in? Yeah. Like, because a transformation is body, mind, and situation. Mm-hmm. It's a complete transformation. It's not just physical. Oh, my body looks great, but my mental is not right. Because, some people, oh, I want to look sexy for the summer. Well, that motivation is only going to last you for the summer. Yeah. Right? Because you get boom and it, and then whatever else happens. So
that's why discipline is much more important than motivation, because motivation, it rises and falls, but discipline, I mean, it's a steady line.
Definitely, yeah. Motivation is what gets you in the door, but discipline is what gets you to your goal, right? Mm-hmm. It's the bridge to the goal. So yeah.
So you'd say you help people with that sort of mental block when it comes to physical health and fitness?
Yeah, help them peel back the layers of their obstacles and their excuses, by reflecting it back on them, and then helping them, better understand their why. People come in, oh, I want to be better for my significant other, my children and stuff like that. But you got to hold that in mind. As a person goes on a journey as far as fitness, they might see some drastic changes, but then 2 years later, like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. Like, but you realize that you lost 100 pounds over here. So always remembering, hey, this is the reason why I started, and kind of continue bringing that to the forefront of their mind.
Mm-hmm. And still on that sort of mental part of it, what's one common fitness myth that you wish more people understood or had more knowledge about?
I think the most common myth is like more is better. Oh, put as much weight on there as possible. I'm going to work out every single day. Hey, rest and recovery is a part of everything too, mm-hmm. And a lot of times if you put too much strain on your body, obviously you can get hurt and injured, but when you do get to take that rest, you're going to come back stronger. People say, oh, I took that time off. It's like, yeah, but you earned that time off, so enjoy it. So I think that's one of the biggest myths. Oh, I gotta do more. So
and yes, I've seen that where people are either taking too many rest days or too scared to take a rest day just because they see online that you need to do this if you want this. I mean, it's very difficult for people to accept that they're human, and they need to understand that they're human so that they can get the best results for themselves.
Yeah, no, definitely. And life happens too, so man, sometimes you just need to take a break, chill out.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people come to you, both people who have never been in any sort of fitness industry and people who have been active for years. How do you train them differently, beginners versus athletes or anything like that?
Well, with the beginner, you really want to educate and build confidence in the movements that they're doing, right? So you're going to create small wins that's going to help them begin to build momentum, and also help them not get injured later on down the road. Because if you start off with the wrong thing and they continue to lift wrong and you don't correct them, the muscle imbalances like you should, then they're going to get injured 3 months down the road and be worse off than where they started. Yeah. With athletes, you want to more so look at how do I optimize the performance, how do I address some of your weaknesses and stuff like that. So, and then also with athletes is mindset, right? So mindset is so important with athletes because you need that mind and body, boom, it needs to sync to be one. That's why when you see like greatness, like Kobe, Michael, LeBron, they're always practicing, right? Because they want that muscle memory. But it's like, you ever see somebody, oh, he scored 40, he's out of his mind, right? Like he's so in sync with his body, he's so in tune, he's in the zone, like he's like almost in a trance. So that's what you really want to try to begin to teach athletes so they can get there faster, right? As you focus on it, because training is just really practice. So when you focus in on it, and then when they get in the game, it's like it becomes automatic, right?
Absolutely.
So that's when we see some of them great plays in the NFL, like, oh, this dude did a one-legged, one-hand catch, I mean, that comes from training. So.
And to talk more about the mentality of it, how do you balance physical training with mental coaching? That was one of the first questions I asked you when I started interning there, and that was one thing that I was very curious about, because that's something I've struggled with, is mental health in balance with physical training. So what do you do for clients or for yourself in that way?
What was my answer when you asked me the first time? Do you remember?
I remember some parts of it. It's definitely it's difficult to balance it, but I know that just understand. It's more of an understanding thing, understanding where you are mentally, and understanding that everybody has their own things mentally. Yeah. That was something you mentioned, was everybody goes through their own different separate things, and finding some sort of balance with that physically is very important, especially with new clients, and being understanding is definitely the main takeaway that I took from you, is everybody comes from their own backgrounds, and you need to be understanding more than just trying to push that away from them.
Definitely, 1,000%. Yeah, I like that answer too. People sometimes get in their own way, in the sense that they're too hard on themselves. You got to begin to give yourself grace. A lot of times, sometimes be like, hey, when I was 25, I was 215 and chiseled. Now I'm 60 years old and I'm 50 pounds overweight, and I want to look like that again. That's great that you have that aspiration to do that, but don't be so hard on yourself. Understand that you're still a 60-year-old individual, and you're trying to work, and then you got so much more going on than you did when you were 21, right? You might not even had a job or anything. You just could go to the gym. Now you got a family, kids. So yeah, just giving yourself grace and teaching them how to give themselves grace. And then, if I see a person needed, I'm going to try to give them some homework too as well. Like, hey, knock this out. Like I told you before, you're going to be the same person in 5 years, outside of the books you read and the networking you do, the people you meet, the mentors you choose is going to really dictate that and elevate you. So yeah, giving them something that they can read and maybe just get a new insight, a fresh perspective, a podcast or something like that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we even record this. Hey, go listen to the episode. That was a great, inspiring episode that we did with Kai. Go check that out, and that can help build up their confidence. Because a lot of times, man, some people never deal with anybody positive. Like really positive. Like some people are like neutral or like a false positive, like they're positive on the surface. I had one coach, she was really positive on the surface, but all the other chatter was negative. Like, so it's like a false positive, like, hey, boom, but everything else you say is negative. And that negativity is cancerous, and it really begins to drain down. So teaching people how to watch their inner dialogue, right? Them automatic negative thoughts, right? Because we get so many of those a day. And so we really got to be conscious about reprogramming and reconditioning our mind. Right. And you have to do that on a daily basis. Just like the sun rises every day, you're going to have to fight that mental battle every day. So you might as well get to it. Right. Hey, I'm waking up at 5. I'm reading. I'm meditating. I'm working out. I'm going to jog a little bit and be ready for it. And I wish also that they would begin to try to teach those kind of fundamental things in school, because it's so important to have a wellness plan, because life, you get out of high school and life just begins to come at you. And, a lot of kids aren't ready for it. So. Yeah.
To switch more of this to client experiences and lessons you've learned, what's the most inspiring transformation you've helped a client achieve, and how did that affect you?
The most inspiring? Oh, that's a tough one. We've had a lot of transformations, even some 3-digit ones. I would say, you would think some of the bigger ones, hey, person lost 100+ pounds. But some of the smaller ones, too as well. A person might just want to be back with who they are. Hey, I need to lose 20 pounds, and that allows me to keep up with my kids. That allows me to, to save my relationship. It allows me to do the things that I want to do. So that's a very big win. I had one guy, he was heavier, and he just he said, I want to wear a V-neck T-shirt, and I want to be able to go and walk at the park, right? Mm-hmm. So that weight that he was holding was actually holding him back from living his best quality life. So I consider things like that a win. Yeah. That's kind of like the biggest win, because you see how it affects them and change their life. But also, I would say how it affects their loved ones, right? When you see their kids come into the gym or get training, or their kids get more active, or are their friends, it becomes a ripple effect, because that's how we live, and this is what we're doing. We're trying to better ourselves, and it becomes more powerful, right? So, like, if you got 2 people, that's powerful, but if you got 3 and 4 people, think how much stronger that group is. Absolutely, right? So if one person has a bad day, has a mental health day, the other 3 people can step in. Hey, I can give you what you need, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And with that, I just want to say something my mom always told me is sorrow shared is halved and joy shared is doubled. And I think that's a great way to put things. If you can get people that are willing to support you and just be there for you, it can go a lot further than you think it could.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that.
And with that, what do you think most clients struggle with, and how do you help them push through it? Like, what's the most common thing that people go to you with where you kind of just already understand how you can help them get through it?
I would say more so like their consistency and belief, and it kind of boils down to what we talk about as far as motivation and discipline. Mm-hmm. I think when you're motivated, hey, I'm motivated, but those days don't really count as much as the days you're not motivated. Yeah. Those are the days that really count, because you're reconditioning your mind. And a lot of times you'll go through a journey of anything in life, not just a wellness journey, but you'll go through a journey. And once you get to a certain point before you make a breakthrough, all that old self begins to pop up, right? So you get all that negative thinking, whatever might come up, and now you got to make it through that and make it over that hurdle to really break it. So,
this next question is for the last one, for the client experiences. Okay. What is the most unexpected thing you've learned from one of your clients?
One of the unexpected things. I think one of the most unexpected experiences I had with my clients is the clientele that I had, doctors, lawyers, business owners. So there was just a wealth of knowledge I was learning from them. Like, they're coming to me, they're paying me, but I'm getting mentorship. I'm getting probably thousands upon $1,000 of mentorship. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's just, whether it's just having a conversation with a lawyer, whether it's kind of a conversation with a financial advisor or somebody like that. That was, I didn't go in the game thinking that would be probably the biggest benefit, because that's a bigger benefit. And then you just meet great quality people. And then, like, let's say if I mentor you or other people, then I can put you guys in the game with them too as well. Mm-hmm. So now, hey, you got access to people that you might not never see, like you might be at the same restaurant with them, but you never really bumped into them, so we can make that and bridge that connection. So I would say, yeah.
That's something I never even considered, is just how the people can help you while you're helping them. I mean, it's such a crazy thing that you can just be helping someone with their physical and mental health while they're helping you gain knowledge you never even thought you could achieve. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of your clients are going to be older than you, have more years in their experience. I mean, even last night at the event, we had several business owners in there. You see there was a lot of different, shades in there too as well. So, mm-hmm. And you learn from that. You learn from different, working with different cultures. Because one thing, everybody wants to live a best quality life for themselves and their family. So the gym oftentimes is where everybody has to meet, mm-hmm. right? It's like the melting pot. It really represents America when you go into a gym. You see, oh man, everybody's here. Mm-hmm. So.
And everybody wants to better themselves.
Everybody wants to better
themselves. They're all really there for this. I mean, it can be different reasons, but it all boils down to the same thing. Everybody wants to just be better for themselves.
Yeah, be better for themselves and their loved ones. So.
These next set of questions are more so about the business aspect of fitness. What have you learned about running a business in this industry, and how do you think it could be different from other sort of businesses?
Well, as a trainer, you wear a lot of hats. So you might be the marketer, you might be the bookkeeper, you got to run the system. You might be the janitor some days. So, just learning that you're going to wear many hats and just how to, once again, how to balance that out, how to balance, really a lot is about time management. Like, hey, I'm going to do this right here. This is set apart for training. This is set apart for X, Y, and Z. This is set apart for mentorship, and this is set apart for. So really, that time management is a major key, especially really in this business and in any business, but especially in this business because essentially what you're doing, you're trading your time for money. Yeah. So. That, hey, if somebody pays me, they just bought an hour of my time. And time is a commodity that we don't get back, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Once you lost that time, so hopefully, if you're training somebody that you're getting the most out of it because you're spending that intense time with somebody. So, it's good when you can get some value out of it too. So.
Yeah. And more with the just different parts of the fitness industry, how do you set yourself apart from other trainers or just people in the industry, and what makes you unique, what makes you different?
Man, a lot of people don't call me trainer, they call me like coach or something like that. So, trainer, I feel like it's one aspect of what I do because I'm a wellness coach. So kind of like I'm looking at holistic wellness. I think obviously the no excuse mindset, focusing on things and really going in depth, not just a catchphrase or slogan. Like I think people can really get a feel with what you're about. Also, I build community, right? You seen kind of a bit of it last night. You know, we're building community, bringing people in, making sure people are not on the island. Mm-hmm. So not everybody would do that, but I see the need for, especially with men's wellness, and there's not really a space where men can gather and talk and be free open. One guy last night was like, hey man, having trouble with my son. I think he said he needs an attitude adjustment. I said, well, he's in the right place. You brought him here, we're going to work with him. He can see some positive thing and get some positive feedback because a lot of times kids begin to mimic what they see more than what you say. They hear what you say, but they're really watching what you do. So getting them and creating those environments and, obviously youth mentorship. I like a balance. Like, hey, I seen a guy, he said, you want to spend 30% of your time with people doing better with you, 30% of your time with, people just like you, and then 30% of time of people that pretty much with who you used to be. So mentorship, youth mentorship is so important because I really want to set up the next generation of wellness coaches, especially with the melanated community, because I see that we need it. So,
and perfect that you were talking about the next generation, because my next question was, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a personal trainer like myself?
What advice? I would just say get started, man. I really would. I would say, hey, get started, try it out, get your clients, see if you like it. Maybe, offer it to your friends and then put them through a workout and see if there's something that you really want to do. And also know that we need it. Look at how chronic diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure continue to shoot up. Even here, obviously I said obesity, but the cancer rate's very high here. The binge drinking's high here. So we're not really taking care of ourselves to have longevity. So if we can get some young wellness coaches that can be champions for that and just continue to build, that's what I would tell them.
And one question I just had for myself is, how do you market yourself or attract new clients? Because if I'm starting out, I really want to be able to push myself out there so that I can attract new people to come in and get more and more people that I can help.
Well, I can't give you my secret sauce, so you can forget about it. No, I would say, like I was telling you before we start recording, is to really begin to narrow down that niche. Who is the individual that I want to work with, right? Who's the particular client that I enjoy working with? And right, when you do that, that's going to take a lot of competition out the way because they're not focused on the same individuals as you. So now you're laser focused, right? You're a sniper. Next, you really want to begin to say, how do I talk to this individual on social media, right? How can I touch some of their pain points? Are you an athlete that want to get faster, stronger? Like, how can I begin to educate you so hey, I'm your guy, right? So, yeah.
This last set of questions is just kind of personal growth for you and your future in the industry. How do you stay motivated after so many years as a wellness coach? How do you stay consistent and want to stay consistent?
Yeah, I mean, you just constantly see transformations of people, and that inspires you. So getting somebody fresh in that has some fitness goals always inspires you, kind of rekindles your love for it. Mentoring trainers, that really rekindles your love for you because you see that spark inside them that they really, hey, man, I want to do this. This is something that I love to do, and I really want to make this a career. So, I mean, that really keeps me going, too, as well. So,
absolutely, yeah. Do you still have any personal fitness goals for yourself? And if so, what are they?
Man, I'm an old man now. I mean, just, I just really want to build myself for kind of more so longevity, man. So just making sure that when I turn 60, which is the white ways off, but that I can still live with a 20-year-old and give them a 20-year-old run their money. So, yeah. All the ego stuff has already been put to rest. So, say, injuries humble you down. So,
True that. Where do you see yourself, or just Get It Right Fitness as a whole, in 5 years? Like, what would you change? What do you want to do to grow? Just everything. Like, how do you see the business going in the next 5 years?
Well, I can't tell you that because somebody might steal it. But I see the wellness industry continually evolve more to a holistic perspective, and I would like it to be made more fun for people to come and more inviting for people to come in. Is where I would love to see the industry going. And for me, I started a registered apprenticeship program through the state, but what I see myself doing is really a pre-apprenticeship program where college kids can come begin to learn, that our high school kids can begin to learn, hey, the personal training, the health and wellness aspect of it, and that way they can just get right off in the industry and begin working and doing the work. I think that's kind of the next phase. That's where I would like to be at in 5 years, maybe have, it'd be beautiful to have 1,000, new wellness champions over the next 5 years. It's only, it sounds like a lot, but that's only 200 a year. So
I think it's a great goal to have. Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's just, inspiration inspires. So.
And the final question for you today is, what legacy do you personally want to leave just on the whole fitness community and the wellness community? What do you think could be your mark on this world?
I think the legacy I want to leave, I want to make sure we inspire as many people to live their life to the fullest, right? There's just so many people that's not living their life to the fullest because they're not healthy enough, or, they're taking care of a loved ones that's not taking care of their health. So my legacy I would like to leave is just, to educate as many people and pass the baton to many individuals that can continue to push the message so we can get a better quality life, get a better quality world, and, and continue to build these communities up. So
thank you very much. That was all of my questions.
All right. Thank you, sir.